Corbin Blumberg has witnessed many special moments in racing over the last few years. But as the racing manager of Starlight Racing, the second that Authentic crossed the wire in the Kentucky Derby was a moment that he will never forget. In this edition of The Next Generation, we spoke with Blumberg about what drew him to the industry and his goals for the future.
I'm Corbin Blumberg. I'm 25. I'm from Potomac, Maryland, and I'm the racing manager for Starlight and Star Ladies Racing. I fell in love with racing when I was 2 or 3 years old. My parents bought me a Best of the Breeders' Cup, 1990 to 2000. So it was Cigar, 1995, and I was just obsessed. That was it. And then I went to my first Breeders' Cup in 2000, which is Tis now. And then after that, I was just hooked from there. When I was 16, I emailed Graham Motion. I went and lived with Graham and Anita for when I was 16. Animal Kingdom had just won the Derby, so it was a great time to be there. And they're the best. I owe so much to Graham and Anita. And did 4 or 5 summers at Fair Hill with them, spent some time at Saratoga. Then went to University of Kentucky, did equine science and management. Then I went and did a program in England called the British Horse Racing Graduate Development Program, which was awesome, love it. And then did the Godolphin Flying Start for the last 2 years. I think for me, it was probably when I got to Kentucky, I didn't know anyone. That was definitely a little challenging, but overall the industry is so welcoming and inclusive, and I got a lot of opportunities just from being lucky and being in the right place at the right time. I was so obsessed that I tried to be. I was reading a racing form when I was 5, so that helped. But definitely, I would say the not knowing anyone. Starlight's amazing. Jack and Lori Wolf started it in 2002, and since they've sort of partnered up with SF Racing and Tom Ryan and Matticat, this colt partnership's just been amazing. 8 Rings, Charlatan, and obviously Authentic a few weeks ago was amazing. It's just been amazing to meet all of our different partners and people within Starlight and get to know them and get to know our horses, and it's been amazing so far. I really love it. Then I was in Saratoga. We had a few horses running in Saratoga that weekend. Jack Wolf was in Louisville, but Lori, his wife, who's managing partner of Star Ladies, was actually in Saratoga. And I get a bit funny about watching racing with other people. So I went and watched it alone, and they were 2 houses down. And I went nuts, sprinted down, when you cross finish line, sprinted down to their house. And they were actually watching on the internet. So the race was still finishing. So I got to see there was 10 people there going nuts. So we went crazy and then had a pretty good night in Saratoga. Oh, so I have 2. First, Cigar, because that's probably the horse that got me into racing. And then probably Animal Kingdom, because he was right there when I started at Graham's and was pretty influential. And I think, when I started at Graham's, there's probably 125 horses, and then one summer there was 200. So those 2, and then more recently, I guess Authentic's on the top of the list, because that was a pretty good start to working in Starlight. For me, I sort of have the dream job off of Flying Start. I so happy, so I'm just trying to sort of make Starlight, on a day-to-day basis, operate as well as it possibly can. And then long-term, I think, for now, I just want to stay with Starlight and try and, work with Jack there. But definitely being involved with the horse and probably buying some horses at some point is definitely on the top of the list.